I don't know. I don't see anybody here yet. It's cold. It is cold, y'all. But I wanted to just come and elaborate a little bit more about what's going on in our world and in politics today. All of the stuff that held on bust wide open with that 8 billion, what they say, it went from 1 million, 8 billion, whatever amount it is, you know. But these people were supposed to have embezzled out of the welfare system. Okay, the money that they embezzled out of the welfare system here in the United States of America. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Sometimes things have to happen to wake up America because for I don't know when was we was having a lot of people coming here in the United States of America unvetted, undocumented, or whatever. But the immigration wasn't like that when the first part of the immigrations was coming. People knew how to come here, build their lives. Everybody had something in common. Mostly, the immigrants had a lot in common. You know, as far as with culture and also with religion. And the most immigrants that were coming here were coming from places of the world that had certain religious practices. Not and it doesn't say anything. And I read my Bible. This is how the devil tricks you up, because you got to know what kind of religion you following, and if that's a religion that actually practices the faith of Christ. You know, like you a Christian nation, and I don't think a Christian nation should be allowing people that come into their country without being carefully vetted to come into their country, without being carefully vetted before they enter in. In America, we were ignorant. We didn't know that. You know, America, like I said, we are a Christian nation. And the thing about being a Christian sometimes is people find your kindness for weakness, and they take advantage of that. So you got to learn how to guard and protect your heart. You know what I'm saying? You got to guard and protect your heart, because as far as I'm concerned, these people are not our friends. And this shit, like, look it on the internet. See, I don't go for all my information. I don't get all my information on CNN and ABC and NBC, and because they're not going to give you everything. You know what I'm saying? They bias on their channels, and especially the ones that are not in favor of our president of the United States of America, because they don't care if people come in this world and just kill us. You know what I'm saying? They just do whatever they want. This one idiot over there in Minnesota, the mayor over there in Minnesota talking about we stand with our immigrants. We this, that, and that. I'm not an immigrant, okay? I may look like one because of my dark African features, but I'm not one, okay? Like they say, don't be deceived by the eye. Like these Somalians, they came here. Oh, black people was ready to jump in and get in the fight with them. You know what I'm saying? Because we know about discrimination. We know about racism. We know about seeing people being mistreated and not being treated right. And we see how people are being fooled. But when you come, you can't, your purpose was to come here to replace us. Your purpose was to come here and be in the proximity with white people. You didn't want to assimilate with us. You didn't want to mix with us. So now that y'all made y'all endorsement, you know, and that's all, and it is going viral to everybody, because a lot of people ain't know about it, and they over there supporting you. But when you made your endorsement, you voted for Donald Trump. You know, that's what you agreed on. You agreed with his policy. You endorsed his policy. And that's why you got to be very, very careful how you play your hand. Okay? You can't renege. You can't play both sides. You can't now, the Democrats, they left us. They left us. So we with Donald Trump He is a fighter. He's a fighter. You know, look, I grew up in New York. So, and believe it or not, whether Donald Trump was in my space, whether Donald Trump was actually in my home, whether we had a conversation together, we shook hands and we laughed and we laughed and we partied together, whatever we did. But I do know a lot about Donald Trump's career and what comes along with it. Because I worked in that field, and that's why I got out. I worked in corporate America. And y'all gotta walk with me. Okay. Yeah, I worked and I'm taking a walk. I always take a walk. But it was too cold to walk, but I had to walk. Just ate lunch or whatever, and I just need to get this food off my stomach, off of me. So anyway, y'all, like I said, y'all endorse somebody, and y'all put in your vote. Now y'all want to call him a racist. Like I said, I grew up in New York. I've been around. I'm almost 60. Okay, almost there. So I have a lot of memory. I have a lot of history, and I remember certain things, places I've been, places I lived, people I'm familiar with, whatever. And Donald Trump, okay, was always known as the businessman that he is. Okay, when you play your hands, you have to study someone. That's why it's important that you go to the elections. I mean, when it comes to election time, come on, that you find out as much information as you can about your candidate or about who you want to be in favor of. I ain't have no other choice. As a black American, and I know I was trying to be tricked up to vote for Kamala, identity politics, and now that I see what's going on in this immigration, now that I really see what's going on with how many people are living in this country illegally, that was going on all this time. And the only reason people are mad at Donald Trump is because he exposed them. All the wicked, dirty shit they were doing in foreign countries, that's what it is. All they wicked, dirty businesses, politics, in all these other countries, the people who they were making alliances with, okay? And getting them into the United States under illegal immigration, or they were doing I say illegal immigration, all these government IDs of driver's license and being able to have fake whatever documents you have. We can't go with those documents. You know, those documents you got in 1991 under the administration at that time of George H.W. Bush. Yeah, Herbert Warren Bush, okay? He was the one who opened the doors to the Somalians in 1991. Do your history. He was the one saw that country was in devastation, and he wanted to help. And he is a Republican. He is a Republican. Gave them that TPS status. So there's a lot of people living over here, truly and honestly with you, they're not supposed to be here. Really, they're not. They didn't come here to escape any kind of persecution. They didn't come here to escape any casualty of war, really, in their country when they still hanging on to the people that was murdering them and killing them in their country, and they got a chance to be free, but they still want to hold on to those customs and that religion and everything else to remind them of that place of trauma. You don't want to be free. You can't save people that don't want to be saved. And that's all I'm saying. That's America's problem. You know, you want to go in and play Jesus. God only asks you to be a servant of his word. When you find somebody, it could be right here in your country, that people haven't developed yet, that don't even know Christ, that people right here now that's not living, you know, in I would say, civilization. You could go down to Alabama, Mississippi. You could go all down in the South, in the back of the woods, everything. There's some people that ain't come to civilization. You know, there are people who have not in the United States come to civilization, education. They pour some kids. Like right now in this Christmas season, it's a lot of parent kids gonna go without their mothers this year. There's a lot of babies that came into this world with a traumatic birth experience. As soon as they entered the world, before they said their first words. I just shared the story with you about Javon Belcher, who was a Kansas City Chief football player. And this happened in, I believe, in 2011. 2011. I would go say 2000. You can look it up. Kansas City Chief, Javon Belcher. Okay, he had a girlfriend named Cassandra. They lived together. They got into a combative argument or some kind of, I don't know what it was that they went through, but that day, and this happened out, I believe, in what state? I believe it had to happen in Kansas. And the thing, what took place was that it got violent, and it happens that he ended up shooting her, killing her, the mother of his child, and he also ended up taking the gun and pulling it out on himself and took his own life. The baby was just an infant at the time, and the grandmother, of course, was there, his mother, of course, and she was still living at the time because the mother called, his mother had called first responders and everything, and they right out of New York. That's why I followed the story, but I'm just using this story as an example of some tragedies that took place in America, and how a lot of children, parents are dead through gun violence, through violence, domestic violence, whatever it is, and also fathers that are not there because they probably have to be in jail for crimes they committed. So you think about some of the people in your home before you think about the people that are suffering in other places of the world. Charity always begins at home. Now, it went on for a long time, and God allowed it to go on for a while. You know, he gave you your continent of people. You gave you the African slave to be here with you to help you with whatever you needed to do on this land. We didn't need to go out and try to find the other ones. He gave you the ones he wanted you to bring to America. Okay? God did that. Okay? I don't care how black people going to get mad about it. Be mad. I don't care. Because through the Bible, there was always slaves. Okay? Everybody wasn't masters. Everybody wasn't in controllers. There was government. Always in the Bible. But then when they didn't have no government, and you go in the book of Judges, when things were just out of control like it is now, where we don't have no, people don't have no loyalty to anything, and as soon as somebody says something to upset them, my door, they ready to go off on somebody. They have no control. They can't regulate themselves. They can't self-regulate since COVID. Everybody just feels that they entitled to something, or everybody feel disrespected, or whatever. But the thing is that when you read the Word of God, it helps you to know things and see things with a better understanding before you start popping off and hitting on, pulling out your race card and everything. Because some of the mistreatment that some people get is what they need to get. They need discipline. They need structure. They need to be chastised. And sometimes it comes from the Father's hand, but it comes through a spirit. Like when God got to talk to you, you got to use somebody to get you in your place. And he chose, and I truly believe he chose a president for Donald Trump for this climate in America. Somebody who's going to be tough, somebody who's going to be harsh, not so politically correct and polished with his speaking, but he's going to just say it bluntly and straight up what he got to say. He ain't going to sit up there and sugarcoat. What good is that going to do him if he got to lie to you? He got to tell you the truth so you could get your shit together. For you to get your shit together, he got to say it the way he got to say it. Yeah, your country's a shithole. You know what I'm saying? You come in here disrespecting America. America took you in, fed you, housed you, clothed you, educated you, and whatever. And you're going to sit up here and talk shit about me? All of them. And I truly believe in the DEI. I truly believe that they need to get rid of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusive, because this is how they slip in these foreigners in our government. It wasn't always an attack on black American people. Some things God allowed us to sit out of. You know, God had to sit us down so we can see these things, what was going on around us. Why is black people not getting heard? And why black people still struggling out here with everybody else coming here? They getting money, they getting businesses, they getting loans for business, because this is how they work through the... This is how they work for power. They go find people that ain't even American to come in the country and vote for them. And they give them these visas and green cards and everything. See, that's what they mad at Trump for, because he blew out. He, okay, exposed it all. But a lot of people don't understand. He ain't got time to be sitting there, because the man's 78 years old. Like, fuck that. They went and brought them motherfuckers over here to replace y'all with y'all votes. They couldn't get the black vote. They couldn't get the fucking black vote. They had to go to a terrorist country and bring in a whole bunch of people just so that they can get the black vote. That's why they are defending them. That's why they are trying to keep them here. That's why they not trying to, fight with, work with ICE or whatever. That's why. That was 80 billion, whatever billions of dollars they spent across it. And Donald Trump was saying the shit all along. That's why I pay attention to him, because he's not stupid. He's just saying, fuck it. I'm an old motherfucker. I done had lived my life. I done seen many days. Now I'm old, and I'm just going to tell you this, okay? You want to step out of your skin. You want to come out of your mouth. You want to talk shit to me. You want to talk all that, crack that. You want to pop shit to me, but you better have a motherfucking, you better know how to back it up. Because I take you and your motherfucking friends out, okay? Because y'all all fucking, like he said, garbage, okay? Garbage. You got American dollars. You only sitting there because you in there because of DEI. And then they said the Democrat Party left them. You see the Democrat Party, them people out here defending them, because that's the motherfuckers that, to get power in America, they went to foreign countries to get their votes. Because they knew American people know who the fuck they are, especially black America. So let me get up in here, y'all. I'll talk with y'all later. Take care. Be blessed. Peace.